Hello and welcome to this Learn tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can make a moving platform game in CoSpaces Pro using blocks. Okay, so the idea being is that you've got to get from the start point to the end point within 30 seconds or whatever time you want to set it, and we've got a variety of moving platforms that you've got to be able to negotiate. So you've got the green one there that moves backwards and forwards. You've got these crazy blue ones that move side to side. You got some pinky, purpley, magenta sort of colour ones, and then you got some objects in the way. With we can add some more, but you can see. So if I get hit by that, oh, I go all the way back to the start. Okie dokie. So let's get started. First of all, we need to create ourselves a new project. We're going to use a 3D environment, and once you've got a 3D environment, we'll click on environment. I'm going to use I'll just use the grassy one. That's fine. That's perfect for me. And once we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to add our basic layout of the squares. So let's just zoom out a bit. Let's go to the library and go to the building material, and let's add some squares. So let's say I'm going to start over here. There we are. There's one. Maybe make that first one a little bit bigger, maybe. And what we'll do now is we'll just keep dragging a few more to make the first part of our maze. So let's say here we want to go along. Again, we can test all this in a bit. Let's have a look. There we go. In fact, what I'll do actually, oops, I'll move them over. No, that'll do. We'll start there actually, yeah. I'll move the camera over there. So there's our first lot of squares, and we'll just use that one to move the other ones up. So that first part here is we go up there. Brilliant. Move up there, and up there. Good. So I've moved the camera over there somewhere near, so let's have a quick play. Let's make sure that still works. Good. So brilliant. There we are. First part. Working fine. Let's just jump on there. Oh, I've come off and I've gone back to the start. So yeah, that's working fine. I'll probably need to move those a little bit closer to each other, but we can sort those out in a bit. So in fact, let's move those over a little bit closer. Otherwise, it's going to be incredibly hard. Again, you can spend as much time as you want with yours. So let's say we got those there, and then let's say for our first obstacle here. Is that about right? Oh no, let's move back there. Move that up. There we go. So for the first obstacle here, we're going to have these two platforms here moving backwards and forwards. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we need to do is let's right click on them. I'll change their color just so that it makes it a bit more obvious. That's square 6, and we've got to make sure we click use in code blocks, otherwise we can't code them. So square 6, right click on that, square 7, using code blocks, and we'll change that to that sort of pinky color there. There we go, kind of magenta sort of color. Good. So those are our two blocks, square 6 and 7, and those are the ones that are going to move backwards and forwards. So what we do is we click on code blocks, and we type in run. There we go, run. And we're going to use this run separately. If you haven't got run separately, make sure you go down to settings at the bottom here and make sure that advanced code blocks is clicked. Otherwise, you might not have it. Sort of hides them. So run separately. And all we're going to do is we're going to move square 6 forward. Let's say 2 meters in 2 seconds. And then we're going to go backwards 2 meters in 2 seconds. There you go. And now if we click play, if we have a look at that, it's not moving. Why is it doing? Oh, that's why. Because at the moment it does do it, but it only does it once. And that's because what we're missing here is a forever. Now make sure that the forever goes inside of the run separately, and make sure that these bits of code go inside of the forever. So it's the moving code in the forever, and the forever goes inside the run separately. The reason we need the run separately is because otherwise what you'll have to do is this bit of code in this forever loop here will execute inside this little circle here forever. So let's imagine let's put it there. Let's get rid of that. And any code that we put below it here, so let's, for instance, if we had another forever loop here, this would never actually run because it's forever stuck up here because it says forever. What run separately does is it goes, you know what, go off and run this piece of code completely separate to whatever else is happening. So we can do that. It allows this bit of code to run completely separately to this bit. So forever, there we go, square 6 forwards and backwards inside the forever loop, square 7 forwards and backwards 2 meters in, there we go. And now if we click, there we go. Good, so they are now moving. Let's have a look. There you go. So those two are now moving. They're moving the wrong way that I wanted them, and the reason being is that forwards and backwards from what we think isn't necessarily forward backwards as what the game thinks. So what we'll do here is we'll go left, right, and we'll change this up. We'll go right, left, so they should come back and meet each other. Let's have a look. Brilliant, good. They need to be moved slightly so they're going backwards and forward and touching each other, but apart from that, let's have a look. There we go, we'll move him there. There we go. In fact, we'll move on there, yeah, that'll do. Let's just move these over a little bit closer. These are all a bit too far. Got a bit giddy before by the looks. There we go. So that goes there, and that hopefully will go there. Let's try that. Again, there's quite a bit of trial and error involved. You can have a go. So let's have a look. Needs to be moved. That second one towards me a little bit. There we go. Let's have a hop along here. Good. Woo! Oh, made it good. Made it. Made it. There you go. And that's about right now there. That one's probably going to need pushing back a little bit, but you get the idea. Woo! And now I've come off. Brilliant. Good, so there's our first 2 platforms sorted, the first moving ones. And now all we need to do is we'll move on to the next lot of moving platforms. So, come back from the top again, zoom up, and let's keep going along. 2, there you go, 2, and we'll come round, 3, 4. You can do like a really big gap jump as well if you want. There we are. And let's just move those up as well. Up we go. That's actually a bit below, so let's move it up. Move it up. And we'll just move all of these up. There we go. Up. 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 There you go. And now what we'll do for the next lot of moving platforms is, instead of doing left to right, let's do up and down. So these 3 will go up and down in series, and you've got to try and hop on. So same sort of thing applies. Right, click on it, right click, change it to using code blocks. So we've got square 10. And again, I'll change the color as well, just to show, you don't have to change the color, but I like just to show that we're going to be doing something special. Using code blocks. Is that green? Using code blocks. We'll do that green. Good. Now these ones slightly different. We're going to use the same sort of principle, but this time it's going to be up and down. So what we could do is we could type all the code again. Oh, there we go. Let's move them up maybe. We'll have a look at that in a minute. We could type all this code again, but what we're going to do instead is just right click and we will duplicate. So there's the first one. And we'll change that to square 10. Square 10. This time it's going to go up and down, and do another one. Let's go square 11, and then duplicate square 12, square 12. So now, so they're all going up and down. Now you can keep them so they're going up and down at the same time if you want to do that, or if you want them to be staggered when they're going up and down, those 3. What you need to do instead is maybe the first one, get him moving up and down straight away. This one, before you start this loop, let's just wait for a little while. So let's type in wait. And for this one, let's wait 0.5 seconds. Good. And then we'll do the second one. Oh, no, don't do that. I've messed that up now. Get off. Uh-oh. That's annoying. Oh, I know what I can do. I can do undo. Hey, undo. Good. Make sure your weight goes here before the forever loop. Don't put it inside of it there. Otherwise, what will happen is it'll go forwards, so it'll go up and down, and then it'll wait for a second, and then go up and down and wait for a second. You don't want that. You just want it to wait once at the start before it starts moving, so it staggers. So you can wait for 0.5, you can wait for 1, you don't wait at all. And now, there you go, you can see. So they're a bit staggered. Good. Now, whilst you're testing the game, at the moment, as you can see here, my camera I've started here. But while you're testing the game, it's a good idea just to don't keep this camera right at the start for all the time, because otherwise, every time you come to test each little bit, you're going to end up having to go from all the way from the beginning. The best way to do it is to just move your camera temporarily. Let's try that. Is that in the right spot? Nope. Almost there. Seems to be falling. Why is that doing that? Oh, moving a bit back. Takes a little bit. There you go. Perfect. So now, while I'm testing this section of the game, I can start here. So let's just test that. That's okay. Whoop. Let's hop onto that one. Oh no. Oh no. Let's go back and try that again. I'm not very good at this game. So test it again. That's why you start there and not the start. Go. Nope. Brilliant. Well, you can imagine. Let's imagine we have got through there and we've got through to there. You can test it out. I don't want to be testing it while we do the tutorial. Otherwise, we might be here for quite a while. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of our game. Here we go. And we'll come around the circle, around the corner here. Around the corner to there. And let's say these ones here, they're going to move left and right in a sequence. 1, 2, 3. Good. So again, we just do the same as before. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you move them all up so we know where they're at. There we go. Oops. Move him up. In fact, these ones we won't do up and down. We'll do these ones that rotate a bit. There you go. So these ones here, they're going to spin around and rotate, kind of like that. So that one will be this way. We'll have a look. So how do we do that? Well, nice and simple. Again, exactly the same as before. Let's change that colour to grey and code it. So we've got square 15. Code. There we go. Give me grey. 15, 16, and 17. Okay, there we go. So we've got 15, 16, and 17. Again, right click, duplicate. Now this time we're going to get rid of the bit where it says move. Why is that doing that? Oh, that's why, because I was clicking on the whole thing. Hey, that explains why that wasn't working. So this time, we're not going to move it, we're going to rotate it. So what we're going to do here is turn, and we're going to turn it around its axes. There you go, forever, and it's just going to turn around the axes. And now it could be X, it could be Y, it could be Z. It depends on what you want to do. I think I'm going to turn it around the y-axis. In order to do that, I'm just going to put a 1 by the y-axis and make sure these are on 0. You can try messing about with it, see what else it does if you want. And I'm going to change that to 360 degrees so that let's do that every 5 seconds, it turns 360. So let's see if that works. That's that 15, was it? That doesn't seem to be 17. Have I clicked on that? No, 17. Code, yep. So 15, 16, and 17. 16's there. Let's try 15. So now if we click run, hopefully we'll see. Nope, it's not working. Let's have a quick look. Make sure I've coded it right. Oh, no I haven't. I've put my run separately inside of another run separately, which is crazy. So that run separately must have just, I don't know why it just got moved. It needs to go separate to all the other runs separate with the forever inside it. And then we got the spin. Let's have a look. Hey, that's much better. So that's exactly how I want it. There you go. So it spins. It spins. If you want it to spin once and then wait for a little while, so kind of give them a bit of a, a chance to hop across, then just put a little weight in there. Maybe like, but make sure it's inside the forever, like 0.5. So now it will turn 360 and then stop, and then turn 360 and then stop, hopefully. Yeah, there you go. So you can do it however you want. You can mess about with all that, which is fine. Good. So there we go. So we got those ones there. And that's brilliant. That's okay. Good. And let's move on to the next one. So again, just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to make it, mine's going level-ish, but you can keep going higher and higher and higher and higher if you want to. That's perfectly fine. I'm just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not putting it up too high, because when you start going a bit higher, you've got to just be a bit careful about how you do it. So it takes a little bit more messing about, which I don't really want to do with a tutorial. But again, you can do whatever you want. There we go. And now let's say this time we've got a, let's move that there. Okay, not far off, move it up a bit more. Let's say this time we want to, we want this one here to sort of spin around in a circle, moving around there. This one here, this square, is going to move around in a bit of a circle like that. How do we do that? Well, this is actually quite easy. What we do is right click on it again, code it. Let's give it another color just to show that it's doing something special. There you go. And what we do instead is we use the special and we use the circular path. And that'll do that. Circular path. Let's just make it a bit bigger so it's a nice big circle. Just like that. And again, bring the path up to the position that you want it to be in. Now it's about right. Again, it takes a little bit of effort just sort of messing it about. Good. And we'll just make it a bit bigger. There we are. And just put that there or somewhere. Hopefully that will do it. Okie dokie, let's see if that works. So, and what we do now is, again, run separately, duplicate, which comes down here. Click off, get rid of the turn because we're not going to use that. And get rid of the weight. And this time we're going to use the follow path. So we type in path. And we're going to move square, what square was it? Square 19. We're going to move square 19 on the path. And let's say it's every 15 seconds or something like that. So it should now follow that path, hopefully. Click play. There we go. And there you can see it. So I'm not going to go up there and try and jump across it, but you can see that it is going round in a circle following the path. There we go. And it's sort of spinning round as it does it. So it says you go round in a circle, following it all the way along. So there's a nice simple one for you. If you do want to test it, then you can obviously, again, like I did before, just move the camera over to roughly where it needs to be. Let's see if that's almost there, wasn't it? Oh, a little bit forward. A little bit forward. Let's move it slightly back. So, and slightly to the left. There you go. So I can see it here, and all I've got to do is practice getting across to there. Oops. This is quite a serious jump. I wonder if I can make it. Oh no, I've fallen. No good. Let's try one more time. Let me. Oh no, I don't think it lets me jump. Actually, I think I'm too far forwards. Oh yeah. Okay, well I'm not going to practice that because I'm going to be here all day, but you get the idea. You can hop onto that platform. If it's too hard, then just make the platform a bit bigger. You can enlarge it. Whee! Oh, I've done it. There you go. So I'm on the platform now, and I'm heading towards the other platform. Whee! Good, there you go, brilliant. Now, that's brilliant. That's okay. If the platform there, you can do all sorts of stuff. It doesn't have to go flat. If you actually click on the platform, then you can change its direction, or if you click up and down, you can make it go kind of almost like in a roller coaster, although that might actually make you fall off it, which will be a bit funny. Let's have a look there. You can see it's going up. So again, and it's going back down. So you can mess about with that, see if it works, what works for you, make the sort of game that you want. So now what we need to do is we need to say, okay, let's imagine we've done all these things. In fact, let's do one more obstacle. Let's do one where... So let's do the next obstacle, and what we'll do this time is we will go to the library, and we'll add some more squares, maybe make them a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's okay. So this time what we'll do is here at the end, we'll just bring him up, move him across a bit. I think that's about right. We can find up a bit more. There you go. Okay, so this time what we'll do is we're going to have 3 or 4 platforms that aren't going to move. So what we'll do here is just Control-C, Control-V, and that's cut and paste, and that keeps it in exactly the same height, so it's quicker to build. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we'll do here is we'll have like a bit of a gauntlet. So what do I mean by gauntlet? Well, we're going to have some kind of obstacle that's moving, that's going to try and knock you off. So I'm going to have maybe this capsule moving backwards, some capsule like this moving backwards and forwards. Let's have a look. So that'll do me. I'm going to have a few of these capsules moving backwards and forwards, trying to they're going left and right to try and knock you off. So similar thing to before. Let's right click on that capsule. Let's change its material. There we go with black. There you go. And again, using CoBlocks. Good. So I've got capsule there. If I actually what I'll do is I'll just control and paste. Oh no. Move it along. 1 capsule, 2 capsules, 3 capsules. There you go. And what we'll do here, that's using CoBlocks. Let's call that capsule 1. Slight glitch in CoBlocks is that if you duplicate something, it keeps its same name, which isn't much use when you're trying to code it, because then you can't code them separately. So again, I've got 3 capsules there now, and again, right click, duplicate. The first one, we won't bother moving on the path. We'll just do it move. And again, same as before, same sort of idea. 5 meters again. You can spend it backwards. You can spend as much time as you like getting exactly how you want it. Let's go capsule 1, capsule 1. Is that going the right way? I don't think that is going the right way, is it? No, it's not going the right way. It's going, it needs to go the other way. Let's go left and right. Left, right. There you go. So there's capsule 1. Duplicate it. We'll do capsule 2. And, oh, 1 second, that's why. 5, let's do 5 seconds. Again, with these sorts of things, there's no right or wrong number. It's just a matter of playing it and making it the best you can, deciding on what you think's best. So, those 3 there, we've got all 3 capsules, and let's add a bit of a time for this delay for the second. Oh no, what's that, not time? Sleep? Wait. I'll wait. There you go, wait. So that one can wait 1 second, and that can wait 2 seconds or something. Let's have a look. There we go, that's perfect. So now, if we try and run the gauntlet, let's just move that along there. So let's say we're trying to get from here, this big platform there, over to the end. Here we go. Again, you can make it harder, but let's move that there. Make sure that's on. I think that's on. Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, good. So now, if we walk along, we're straight onto here. Again, you're probably going to want to make this a bit quicker, but the idea being is that if you're still there when it comes, it knocks you off. It'll knock you right off the end. It's moving backwards and forwards. Probably needs to be start there, doesn't it? A little bit over, that's why. So, there we go. Yeah, it's starting over there now. So make sure it starts over far enough, and make sure it goes over far enough so that it'll knock you right off like that. Wah! And then you're back to the beginning. Good. Because you have to walk all the way back over here. Ooh, in the crazy running thing. Okay, so you've got a few ideas there. You can do some more complicated stuff. But there's my bit of my idea of my maze. And let's say now that we're going to have multiple levels, how do we do this? Well, that's nice and simple. What we do, let's say that if you get to, let's say you get to the end square here. In fact, no, I'm not going to put a square. Let's do a circle. We used enough square. Oh, that wasn't. Oh, it is a circle. That's okay. I thought that was a square then. I was like, what? So let's say you get to this end circular platform there, and you want to go on to the next level. How do we do that? Well, that's actually nice and simple. Again, same as always, because we're going to attach some code to it using CoBlocks. And this time what we'll do is I'll just change that from circle to finish. There we are. And what do we do? Well, there it is, finish. All we need to do now is we add ourselves another run separately. Run separately. Good. And another forever loop. Whoops. Good. Forever loop. And we're going to repeat. And we're going to do a repeat while. There we go. Repeat while. And touching. Oh, not. We're going to not. And then distance. Oh no. Don't bother with the not, actually. I've got an easy way of doing it. Let's use this greater than. Greater than, repeat while, and then here, I need to change that to greater than, and we're going to say, okay, distance between, there you go. Distance between, and we're looking for the camera, but we haven't got distance between there and the camera, and the reason being is we need to right click on the camera and code. And what we can say here now is if the distance between the camera and the finish is greater than, let's say, 2, that should work fine. What we'll do is we will wait for a tenth of a second. Let's say that 0.1. So all this loop here does there is it literally says, okay, keep repeating until pretty much until the distance. So keep repeating while the distance is between the camera and this circle is greater than 2. Once it's less than 2, what will happen is it will actually drop out of this repeat loop here and it will hit the program here. And then what we can do is this. Oh, not that, because that's not right. If we click on this one here and go to new scene, 3D environment, and call this, well, you can call that, let's call that level 2 actually. Why don't we call that level 1? Level 2. Level 2. And let's call that level 1. And again, what we can do here is go back to level 1, and all we need to do is we do scene. There we are. Go to scene. No. Oh. And it's got to go there. There you go. So go to scene, level 2, and that's it. So what happens now is it will keep waiting until it's until you've touched that disc. Once you've touched that disc, it will put you onto this level, and you can start this level and do a whole new level just like you did level 1. Let's test that out actually. Let's run that. Let's see if that works. So hopefully, if we move along here, run, jump. And now, there we go. Level 2. Brilliant. Good. So let's go back out of there, back onto level 1. So all that is now working. Your game mechanics is now working. And you can make that far more special, spectacular, do all sorts of wonderful things. You can have people talking to you and things like that. But the only thing I'm going to do now is show you how we can make a countdown. Or sorry, a count up timer. So that you get a maximum of 30 seconds to get from start to finish, or 1 minute or two minutes. If you don't get there in time, then it will send you all the way back to the beginning. So how do we do that? Well, what we're going to do, because this is slightly different to all this code here, and we've got rather a lot, we're going to click on another plus here, and we're going to do another CoBlock script here that's separate. So you know this first lot of script is all about moving stuff and the end of the level. And this one here is all about the countdown timer. So what are we going to do? Well, first of all we're going to need another run separately, because we need something to happen. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a timer. And the way we do that is we have a forever. And this forever loop, its job is just going to be to keep adding on to the timer. So the timer is going to start at 0 and it's going to keep adding up. Well, how do we create a timer? Well, it's nice and easy. What we'll do is we go to the data section and we set a variable. There we go. Make sure it's inside the run separately but before the forever. And let's change the variable to timer. And at the start of the game, we set it to 0. Make sure that you've dragged these zeros in. Don't do the one of the speech marks because it won't work. And so all we do is set the timer to 0. And what we say is, okay, if we're not touching this start bit here, so if, oh, what's that one called actually? Let's rename it, let's give it a name. Let's call it start. And we'll just call that to a different color. There we go. And all we do is we say if the distance, where's my if gone? Oh, it must be up here. There you go. If the distance between to that is greater than 2, should we say? So let's do greater than. Now make sure this one's a bit tricky. It's got to highlight all of it like that there. If you didn't highlight all of it, you'll end up with this here and a little bit of the thing there somewhere. That's no good. You've got to make sure you highlight all of it. So if, and then it's the distance between the camera and the start. Where's start gone? Oh, enable coding, that's why. Good. If the distance between the camera and the start is greater than 2, there we go, we will tick the clock. So change timer by 1. So the reason we're only doing it if the distance between here, between the camera and the start is greater than 1, is that what we want to do is when we're stood on this start box over here, we want the timer to stay at 0. And we're going to sort that out in a minute. So this one now, if we just click start, it will increase, change by 1. But we need to make sure it only increases once per second because it's going to tick along. So the way we do that is we do a wait, and we change the timer by 1. In fact, we'll do it that way. Wait for a second, change the timer by 1. And we'll just keep doing that. If we're not touching it, it's going to change the timer by 1. But we can't see the timer at the moment. So really, we want to be able to display it somewhere. And I'm going to display it over here in massive letters. So what we do is we drag this one over here. That's my timer. Oh, and let's make him bigger. New text. And all we're going to do here is just double click on this and text. At the moment, we'll set it to 0 because that's the time. It starts at 0. And again, because we're going to code it, we need to right click, code using CoBlocks. So it's going to start at 0. And all we need to do here is we need to change this value to be whatever the timer is. So how do we do that? Well, again, nice and simple. Separately, run separately. And another loop, forever, and the job of this run separately and this forever inside it is all we're going to do is if we type in text, we're going to set the text of it's called text. Let's rename that. Let's call this timer. Set the text of timer to, and if we go data, you should see one little circle that's called timer. Good. And what we need to do now is we'll do another wait after that, and we'll only update that timer every 1/10 of a second or something. The reason we need to have this wait in is that otherwise what will happen is this piece of code will execute lots and lots and lots of times really quickly, which might use up a bit of the processor power of the computer. This just goes, you know what, we don't need to be checking all the time, let's just check every 1/10 of a second. So now, hopefully, let's have a look. There you go. So now, as you can see, the timer is constantly going up. Well, so that's good, but we also need to get our timer so it's going up. What we also do need to do now is say, okay, if our timer gets over 30 seconds, then we need to go all the way back down to the start right over there. So how do we do that there? Well, actually, it's nice and simple. All we need to do is we'll add a little bit in the bottom of this one here, and let's see if that will make it work. So every 1/10 of a second, we say, okay, after we've done all that bit, what we'll do is we'll say if and greater than if, oh, there you go, got to be the full one. If the timer, so we've got data, if the, oh, no, that's no good, you get back in there, there we go. If the timer is greater than or equal to 30, then what we need to do is we're just going to move all the way back to the start. So how do you do that? Well, that's nice and simple. We just say move the camera, nope, not to. Oh, no. Move, there you are. Move the camera to, and then this X, Y, and Z position. There we go, move the camera X, Y, Z. But we don't know the X, Y, Z of that, but we don't need to know, because what we can do here is just type in position and put position in there, because we're going to move to the position of the start. Now you can set it there so it moves it in 1 second, which will make it slowly drag you back over there, or 5 seconds or something. If you want it to be instant, just put 0 seconds. So there we go. So now, let's have a look. Here we go. 4, 5, 6. Let's. Oh, it's just knocked me off the edge anyway, so there's no way I'll get back. There we go. Let's wait 30 seconds. A bit of elevator music. Maybe I should have set this to 15 seconds. Let's have a look. When you're testing these things out and you're waiting around to see if it works, then, whee, there you go, brilliant. And I should, if I look down, be right on the start. There you go. So now you've got a far more challenging game. You've got platforms that move, you've got things that are trying to knock you off, but you've also got timer. That should set itself back onto, is that going back to, ooh, what's happened? Okay, yeah, slight glitch there. You move the camera all the way to the start, but what you also must do as well is set the, where's my data gone? Data. Set, once you've moved the camera all the way back to the start, set the timer. Oh no, yeah, data. Where's that gone? There it is. Timer to 0. Also make sure you set the timer to 0 so that it resets it. Otherwise, because we're stuck at 30, it keeps moving it and it gets stuck in a loop. Let me just change that to 10 seconds just to test that, make sure it's working. I'm not going to leave it at 30 seconds. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have a look. 9. There you go. And now we're back at the start and it has reset itself to 0 and we're going again. As soon as I step off that pad, it starts going back up again. There you go. And that should, there we go. Whoop. And it's moving. There we go. Good. Brilliant. Okay, there we go. Good. So there is the game. There's the basics of the game. All you've got to do there is all you've got to, in fact that's right, yeah, that's okay. So it's all done there, and all you need to do is add some more levels, do as many levels as you like. In terms of other improvements, maybe add some background music, Also add some sound effects, so if these touch you, you can play a sound like bop as it pushes you off, or whatever you want to do. All those sorts of things. When you get to the end of the level, play a sound, or when you're getting sent back to the start, you can play a sound, things like that. And add more things with platforms. So for instance, you could have platforms where as soon as you're touching them, it waits half a second and then it starts to fall to the floor and then it goes back up after a minute or something like that. Loads of ideas. There you go. Okay, good luck with your coding, and any problems, just drop me a comment. Thank you very much.